Like Purdue, it's just an example. Purdue losing to Fresno State is okay. We still win the Big Ten West. But me,
Billy Napier gets fired. I'm just kidding.
hey, really the best time of the year. I will be seated watching the Red Zone for 7 hours on Sunday. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to a new episode of Backyard Banter. Tanner, James, Johnny, loaded week again. Best time of the year. We've talked about it for the past few weeks now. We're gonna get straight into our college football pickup. Teaster, what's the first game?
Well, before we get into the first game,
Oh yeah,
got a review last week. So 8-2 last week.
I mean, it's free.
We had a big bounce back week. Could have been 9-1 if someone took Washington.
Oregon outplayed Washington.
But yeah,
Kick a field goal.
45-25 on the year.
That's
we are in
really
the
good.
top 6% nationwide.
We're gonna be in the top
So,
1%.
top 1% after this
10-0 this week.
We're starting with Penn State at Ohio State.
Biggest game of the week.
I'd like you guys to go first.
Are you gonna pick Penn State?
I just want to see what you guys do.
Okay. The key to this game is what quarterback can make both plays.
Yeah.
The most plays, excuse me. Drew Aller has been fine. I mean, him and Calvin Corder have both just been fine. They haven't been different makers. They haven't been whatever. They've been really carried by their defense. They both have top 10 defenses, and I think it's interesting. Like all the talking heads on TV talk about like, oh, who in the upset you gotta get a special team score. Like I think special teams and defense could really decide this game. I'm going with Penn State. I think Chop Robinson on that defense, Kalen King on that defense. I think Kalen King versus Marvin Harrison is going to be just a heck of a matchup on the outside. And I think Drew Aller makes enough plays. JT, the number one recruit, I'm not going to even try to say his last name, completely took over the game last year. Penn State has a really good tackle. His name is escaping me, but
Projected to go to the Bears right now.
And he must be projected to go number 2 overall then. And yeah, so I think Penn State comes into Columbus and gets a huge win. Even though James Franklin, by the way, terrible on the road and terrible against top 5 teams in general. You know, Ryan Day has never lost to anyone in the Big Ten besides Michigan, like 54-0. I think that streak ends. Nittany Lions.
So I have a similar take, and I am picking Penn State as well. So this is
picking Penn State.
So it sounds like he's going to the Buckeyes, but the reason we're all just sweeping Penn State.
Yep.
Right?
Oh,
we're Ohio State's definitely winning, by the way. So the reason I like Penn State, you watch the matchup. I'm going to bring up Notre Dame. The matchup when Harrison and all those guys are being guarded by pretty good corners. They haven't played anybody since then that can guard as well as Notre Dame did. They shut them down, and Notre Dame was able to shut them down. And Penn State is just as good in the secondary. I really love Penn State. I think quarterback is going to be a huge question mark for both of these teams. I think Kyle McCord is kind of figuring himself out as he's kind of. But again, once you have 2 of the best wide receivers in the game, you throw the ball, make a play. But I love this defense for Penn State. I'm a little nervous about that stat about Ohio State not losing because Ryan Day is legit.
Yes.
And with this game being in Columbus, it's a little scary, but I love the Nittany Lions this year.
I picked one with the Big Ten,
Feed me
so I gotta rock with mine.
To your point about Ryan Day, all streaks got to come to an end, right? Like Notre Dame's ACC streak came to an end. Ryan Day's Big Ten streak
Unnecessary stuff.
is going to come to an
That
end.
was tough.
Sorry for that's kind
You're
of
not sorry, so
Purdue
don't
streak
apologize.
But,
came
for
to
me-
an end at 2.
For me, in this game, it comes down to Drew Aller. He's a better quarterback.
Yeah.
I like Nick Singleton a lot for Penn State, the running back.
He's the X factor.
And Penn State's secondary is known for being really good. Emeka Egbuka, I think, is going to be out.
Oh, that's
Is he?
Ohio State. I watched Ohio State's whole game last week. Won't talk about why I watched
It was
it.
also Purdue's game.
Purdue lost by
But
40.
Ohio State started the game with their 3rd-string running back last week, and he got hurt. So they're without their top 3 running backs and Emeka Egbuka.
I'll go play.
Their 4th-string running back, his first career carry in college was last week.
I
So-
fumbled it, maybe.
They're down their 4th running back. They're without Emeka Egbuka. They have a lot of injuries right now. Ohio State is very quietly extremely injured. I like Penn State a lot in this game, so I'm going with the
Nittany
Lions.
Lions. Book it.
What's the next one?
Memphis at UAB. UAB's 2-5. Memphis has historically been pretty good.
I like Memphis,
I like
and I also watched them play against. Who they play
Missouri.
on Friday? No, not Missouri. They played Tulane, and Tulane came back in the 4th quarter and beat them. So there's some Memphis knowledge for you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a Hail Mary, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That was the Hail Mary game.
That was a Houston, West Virginia.
Houston, West
Oh,
Virginia.
no, that was that
And
one.
Paxton Lynch went to Memphis.
Okay.
and he was
Good take.
Minnesota
Here we go.
at Iowa.
Here's my take.
The over/under is 32.
Here's my take, and I'm so glad they're in the pick'em. Let me set the table for you guys. Okay, Iowa, 6-1. If you look at the rest of their schedule, cake. This is the hardest game of the rest of the schedule. Minnesota, Illinois, Nebraska, Northwestern. They go 11-1.
Yeah.
They win the Big Ten West.
Yeah.
They win one big game in the Big Ten championship.
They're in the playoff.
Do they make the playoff?
It depends how everything shakes out.
Because here's the thing: they go 11-1. They're going to win the Big Ten West. Okay.
If let's say LSU runs the table and wins the SEC, they get in over a one-loss Iowa. I think.
Isn't it crazy though that Iowa can make the playoff?
It is very crazy.
It is crazy.
Yeah,
they're going to go 11-1.
The fact
I never thought about that.
They're going to go 11-1.
The fact that the over/under is at 32.5, I think, or 31.5.
Way too high.
Pathetic.
It's way too high. Here's the thing: Iowa, they have to take care of business. Okay, their defense is so good.
Every year, you would think you get one quarterback.
So good. They're gonna go 11-1, and all you have to do is win one big game.
That's it.
One big game, and you have a chance to play for a national championship.
Feed me Deacon Hill in the college football playoff.
Like it's crazy to think about, but I saw they were 6-1.
Yeah.
I saw another podcast who said it. They're gonna go 11-1 at the end of the day.
We all got Iowa.
I got Iowa. Yeah.
If the Hawkeyes sleep into the, or whatever, I don't even want to see them.
That would be crazy.
Oklahoma State 4-2 at West Virginia 4-2. I'm gonna start us off here. I was high on Oklahoma State for the year. I had them going 10-2. I love Allen Bowman in this passing attack. This is secretly a very good. I don't know if it's an air raid type offense, but they just throw the ball around the yard and they do it really well. And I think Oklahoma State is going to continue that. West Virginia, I don't think they've really played anybody as of yet. Oklahoma State hasn't quite either, but they've at least beat some teams. I feel
Kansas last week.
So I'm going to pick Oklahoma State
as well.
Yeah, give me the Cowboys. Yep.
Tyreek Hill up there.
Next game in the MAC. How about this?
A little action.
6-1. 6-1 Toledo at 6-1 Miami of Ohio.
As a guy that lives and grew up in DeKalb, I've seen a lot of Toledo in all of their sports, and you never bet against the Rockets. I just think Toledo just always has like a difference maker, and I like Toledo. I can't say I've watched Toledo this year.
Kareem Hunt go to Toledo?
He did. Yeah,
Come on now.
Yeah.
Toledo is actually favored even though they're on the road.
Okay, yeah, give me the Rockets. Give me the Rockets of Toledo.
I'm going with Miami, Ohio. Ben Roethlisberger went there.
This is a big interstate matchup.
Yeah.
Toledo's in Ohio. If you
We're spending too much time.
You didn't know that?
I'm going to go with Miami of Ohio.
Yes. They messed up. It's fine.
UTSA at Florida Atlantic.
Terrible.
My friend, shout out to Okotis, a long snapper for Florida Atlantic, so just because of that, I'll go with them.
You know, I'll go with them as well, just because of that.
Yeah.
I hate owls, so I'm going with the Roadrunners.
The owls have my
I hate owls.
So
I'm
loud.
petrified of owls. So.
Number 13, Ole Miss at Auburn.
Old Miss rolls here. They coming off a bye. I'm pretty sure Auburn really struggled at LSU. The game is at Auburn and at night, but I feel like they kind of went all in with that Georgia game. The quarterback Peyton Thorne, I was kind of high on him coming into the season. He can't throw the ball. He's really only a runner, and Ole Miss's offense is too much. So feed me Jackson.
Ole Miss will waver here in the first half. I think with this game being at Auburn, I think there's going to be some extra, oomph for Auburn in that first half. I said it in the Kentucky-Georgia game. I thought Kentucky maybe Kentucky was going to maybe surprise us in the first half. I think Auburn might surprise Ole Miss, but Ole Miss offensively is going to come back in the second half.
I got Auburn in this game.
Kentucky.
I was wrong.
No,
I was totally
Who do you got?
I got Auburn in this game. Big night game at Jordan Hare. Auburn, I feel like, is better than their 3-3 record. Ole Miss, I feel like Lane Kiffin's due for a letdown. I feel like they always have one letdown a year. I think this is a spot where it could happen.
It's a good take.
So I'm going to go with Auburn, but we got Ole Miss.
Yeah.
Number 14, Utah at USC.
I want to go first on this game.
Why is this a matchup?
I think it's Pac-12. It's a big game.
I thought it was
Houston. Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
I think USC is going to roll here. I think Lincoln Riley's too good of a coach to let this team have a letdown like this. At home, if the USC defense can't show out against Utah without, are you checking if he's playing?
Yeah.
Without
they're talking about a medical red shirt, so I don't know.
So he will not be playing. I'm blanking on his name right now.
Robinson?
No.
Trevor something Johnson or something.
The starting quarterback for Utah.
Yeah, it's Johnson.
Anyway, if USC's defense cannot stand up to this pretty atrocious Utah offense, then what will happen? I think USC wins by double digits.
Caleb Williams in a press conference today kind of pissed me off. He's very good at football,
Yeah, he wants
right?
equity.
But he's just he's got to a point where he knows he's gonna be the first overall pick.
And he doesn't want to go to the Bears.
He doesn't want to go to the Bears. He's just super cocky. But like you said, I can't let my emotions pick Utah here because USC is gonna throw the ball all over Utah.
Yeah.
But Utah's gonna be able to run the ball against USC, so I'll be interested.
fun.
But I have USC. Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Utah here. Utah's had their number the past couple years, even with Caleb Williams.
Rematch of the Pac-12.
I mean, they beat him twice last year. They
that was
beat him
with the starter.
Before. I like Utah's defense a lot. If Notre Dame's defense can do that to Caleb Williams, so can Utah's. So I'm taking the Utes here. I know you guys have USC.
That's a good take.
Clemson at Miami.
Yeah,
Both are 4-2 unranked.
that's a big
Who would've
game.
thought?
But me. Not big for Clemson, but for Miami. I think Miami wins this game at home. I really don't know what to make of Clemson. They scored 17 points versus Wake. I think Tyler Van Dyke is the better quarterback. That would be saying that right now. And Miami is still their safety to have in that secondary is one of the best players in college football. So give me Miami.
I like Clemson here. They're 4-2 and they're not playing great football, but they got a chance to still like do something in the ACC. So
Yeah.
I mean, I can't bet against Dabo, and that's the thing. Dabo has been proven to win games, and and clearly Miami's not, right? Coaching matchup here. I'm going to take Dabo, so feed me the Tigers.
I agree. I was going to say the same thing. I look at the coaching matchup here. I take Dabo over Mario Cristobal. That Georgia Tech play for Miami I think that could be a big downfall for Mario Cristobal's tenure at Miami.
100%.
And I'm going to take Clemson.
Because that's not just like a mistake. That is just like
That is
a brain fart.
ignorance,
What's the next?
arrogance,
Yeah.
whatever. I don't know. I might not.
Stop giving us these games.
Yeah, what the-
I don't care about these games.
Oh.
Why isn't Tennessee Alabama on here?
That's a good question.
That's a great question.
They're
Do we want to talk about it after we just make
Yeah.
a random pick here?
Yeah.
Georgia State at Louisiana.
I don't know.
Maybe the Raging Cajuns.
Give me the Cajuns.
Yeah, Billy Napier came from
Gosh,
there.
you're just name dropping.
How many
Well,
points
yeah.
in Penn State, Ohio State? I think it's going to be like 31-28. So,
I'm never good with these.
48.
53.
all right, we'll go
51.
51.
All right, quickly. Tennessee, Alabama. Joe Millen has been incredibly average this year. I know one of you guys,
It's
forever,
not
was very high on him coming out because he could throw. You both were. I was not. Because he could throw it far. Guess what? He can't throw it accurately. But Jalen Milroe, unless he's throwing it deep, he really can't throw it either.
Yeah.
Both these defense really good. Tennessee is not allowed a 200-yard rush, I think, over 20 games, 24 games. That's 2 seasons. Obviously, Dallas Turner, Cole McKinstry for Alabama. They have a freshman. If you're a freshman starting at Alabama, that means you're pretty big time.
Yeah, you're
So I like Alabama here because it's at home. Nick Saban, this game was circled, revenge game.
Yep.
I just think Joe Milton's not going to be enough to make, not going to do enough to make enough plays. Brew McCoy's out, obviously after the year, their best receiver. So give me Alabama.
This game last year was.
The greatest
I know
game
where I
I've ever
was.
seen.
I know
Yeah.
I was at Wingstop.
That's great.
It was the last time I've ever been to Wingstop.
We were at Wingstop.
I think we were in there, and when Tennessee made the field goal,
Yeah.
I was going
Yeah.
berserk.
Who do you got?
Bama.
For me, I'm taking Tennessee. All right. I like Joe Milton better than Jalen Milroe.
Yeah.
I remember when Ole Miss beat Alabama at home and then came back the next year
Beat 'em,
and
yeah.
beat them in Tuscaloosa. I think this is kind of the same thing. I'm rocking with Tennessee. I'm rocking with the Vols.
I like that.
I like the Vols a lot.
Good stuff. NFL time. First game. Dolphins-Eagles. Biggest game of the weekend. Sunday Night Football. The last few weeks, at least for me, I've watched baseball over Sunday Night Football. Not this weekend.
Not this week.
Dolphins, Eagles. Eagles coming off a really tough loss. Jalen Hurts, 3 interceptions. Dolphins, obviously, Tua has probably been the best quarterback in football this year. Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Raheem Mostert, just so much speed. Who do you guys got?
Go ahead, T.
I've been back and forth on this game. I have a hard time. There's two reasons I have picking this game. I have a hard time seeing the Eagles lose 2 games in a row. They're too good to do that.
Very true.
And I have a hard time seeing them lose at home. So I'm taking the Eagles just because of that. But I think the Dolphins are the better team. The Dolphins have won a couple games in a row. They're kind of due for a loss. I'm going to take the Eagles. It could go either way.
Either way.
I want to see the Dolphins win because I do like the Dolphins a little bit more than the Eagles. But I do think the Eagles get this game at home for sure.
I do like the Dolphins as well. And like this is one of those takes where it's like whatever, but I don't agree with your statement last pod about Jalen Hurts being overrated. I think Jalen Hurts is a dog.
Is he a top 3 quarterback?
Yes.
That's what I was saying.
Yes,
So.
I do. I think right now he is. But I think Miami's defense is a little overrated. I think their offense has really obviously carried them into some wins. I'm a little worried about Miami's defense, and that's why I think Philly's going to
The Dolphins, they played one good team and lost.
Yeah.
I don't have their schedule off the top of my mind, but it's not like they've playing all these top 5, 7 teams. Eagles at home, night game in Philly. There's
gonna be rocking.
Yeah, there's going to be no
Philly's
game.
the best city.
Yeah, so I'll take the Eagles.
Yeah.
I think by far the matchup in this game is going to be the Dolphins' offense versus the Phillies.
Obviously, so Darius Slay versus
100%.
Tyreek Hill.
100%. 100%.
What's your game, James?
My game is Detroit at Baltimore.
Fun game.
I kind of love this matchup just because of the fact that these two teams are playing good football. Like in terms of Baltimore's record, it doesn't look like they're playing great football, but they've had some tough games. I like the quarterback matchup. I just love how both teams are playing. I think you have two different styles of quarterback play, right? You've got Lamar, who just is Lamar, and then you got the Lions, who are kind of using pieces on the outside. I don't know if Amon-Ra is playing. I think he's healthy.
Yeah, he
played last week.
But
I know he had, like, Tuesday, there was some practice, whatever, but who knows? It's a long week.
Yeah.
But I just think this game is just, it's going to be a great one because you have two quarterbacks that are playing completely different styles of football, but they're both at the highest level right now. I mean, they're great. So.
Yeah, the Ravens, I feel like they beat Tennessee last week. Tennessee sucks. They lost to the Steelers the week before. Steelers suck.
Yeah.
I just don't really think Lamar's doing everything he can. His receivers not really doing much for him.
Yeah.
Detroit, even though they're 5-1, is still the most underrated team in the NFL. I'm going with Detroit this week, going into Baltimore and getting a big win. The Detroit defense, their front, really good.
Yeah. I like Baltimore a lot in this one. I think Detroit is a top 5 team in the NFL, but there's been two trends happening actually this year in the NFL. The first one is NFC Offensive Player of the Week the next week has been terrible. Like, DJ Moore got it, was terrible. The week before, I can't remember who got it before him, was terrible. Jared Goff got it last week. I think he's going to struggle. And then the other trend is the talk of the NFL world from the previous week has lost the next week, right? Like, everybody's talking 49ers after beating the Cowboys. Lost. Week before that, Bills beat the Dolphins, lost in London. I think it's Detroit right now. They're kind of the talk of the league.
Yeah.
5-1. Stephen A. had him number 1.
He did.
So I'm going to take Baltimore. I'm going to ride those two trends with this week with this one.
Yeah, I have Detroit. I think they're going to be able to run the football. David Montgomery's on a...
He's out.
Is he?
Yeah, he got hurt against the Bucks.
So Williams is
Jamar Gibbs will be, he's back.
Well, then I don't know. Feed me Baltimore then, I guess. I didn't realize David Montgomery was out. Yeah. So, God, if Baltimore could catch a pass, they're going to be able to play. So.
All right, Tanner.
So, real quick before I get into my game, I have my upset pick of the week. My upset pick of the week is Pittsburgh over the Rams in Los Angeles.
Again, I don't really. You are a big Rams fan, and then you are also a big Steelers fan. So.
I think Pittsburgh's.
I think the Steelers suck. I'm not gonna lie.
They're coming off a bye.
Mike Tomlin carries that franchise because Kenny Pickett and Matt Canada.
You know who used to carry the franchise?
Bill Cowher.
Chase Claypool.
Here's a question: are the Steelers a really good bad team, or are they just a bad good team?
Bad good team.
They're a bad team. Like, they're just bad.
But they win. All right. Anyways,
bro.
I would like to talk
Rams
about
are gonna run all over the Steelers.
No.
Yeah,
Kyron Williams is out.
Cooper Kupp's back, bro.
Kyron Williams is out. I really.
Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp, too much.
I really like the Steelers defense.
All
this
right,
week.
let's get your game, which it's the game of the week.
No, it's not.
I will not be watching the second of this game.
If Aiden O'Connell wasn't starting for the Raiders, I wouldn't talk about this game. I'm a pretty Boilermakers fan. Aiden O'Connell.
No.
You are?
Oh, I didn't know. I didn't know you guys didn't know. Aiden O'Connell, come from Purdue. Great guy. Great player. Deserves a chance.
He's a great guy.
He's a great guy. Gone through a lot of stuff in his life, and
oh my gosh, we're getting a deep bio.
I'm not going in, but he deserves a chance in the NFL. He's getting it. Jimmy G keeps getting hurt. I want to see Aiden O'Connell get a win so badly, and I want the Bears to tank. So I hope the Raiders beat the Bears this week. I'm gonna say it. I hope the Raiders beat the Bears. Yeah. Give me Aiden O'Connell.
That's fun.
Aiden O'Connell. sucked at Purdue.
I'm not making a pick.
Sucked, and he sucks now.
I'm not. I refuse to acknowledge.
So I'm not even gonna pick one. But I mean,
aren't the Raiders 3-3?
Yes.
They're the worst 3-3 team in NFL.
They might be.
Well, they're about to be the worst 4-3.
Anyway, yeah.
Tyson, here's the thing. Let me make one comment here. I saw it on Twitter. You can find me if you want. No pro team has a scouting report on Tyson Bagent. Nobody does. Let that man sit. No. Let that man sit in the pocket and throw the football. I'm saying there's a possibility that Tyson's able to throw all over this Raiders defense. So, I like the Bears, but we get a new Bears team every week, so who knows what's going to happen.
You got a new Bears team one time. The same Bears team showed up for the last 5 losses.
No. It's a different bad.
We've held a team to
They get worse in a different area.
Also, the Bucs are going to beat the Falcons this week at home and rage a big bounce back win. I'm not going to go into it, but Baker legitimately can't play worse than he did last week. Feed me the Bucs.
You ready for this? I got one more take. Because we talk about the Bears being bad at certain things. You know what hasn't really wavered yet this year? Special teams. So what's going to happen in the fourth quarter, Raiders are going to punt it to the Bears. So they're going to drop the punt. They're going to scoop and score. Raiders are going to win the football game.
I think we're waiting for the Thursday night game to do that.
Against the Panthers. Yeah.
All right. It's NBA time, everyone. The NBA season should start in December, but we'll get into that at a different time. And we're joined by Alex Ridge. He's our videographer. All the edits, YouTube shorts you see. He is very good at it all. He's also a massive NBA fan. So we have cordially invited him to join us for this part of the segment. And we're going to do the top 4 to 5 seeds and maybe a sleeper team in each conference. We'll start with the East. Mayo, who's going to be the 5 seed in the East?
Well, this is probably going to be a little bit different than you guys. My 5 seed in the East is the Philadelphia 76ers. They've dropped a lot for me. I think Harden's a complete cancer to this organization, and even after they trade him, I feel like his mark will be left.
Yeah. No, I love that. I love that take. My 5 seed, I want to go a little different here. I have the Atlanta Hawks. 2020, they made the Eastern Conference Finals. Upset Philly, Game 7. I think year 2 of Trae Young and I almost said DeMarco Murray. DeJounte Murray is going to be really good. DeJounte Murray at his peak gets on the ball defensively. Trae Young just played defense well, scored 28 and 9 assists. So yeah, I like the Hawks to have a little bit of a bounce back.
I like that take.
Thanks, James.
I really, because Murray's a stud, and he really is. So I also have a 76ers
from Washington
as my 5, because we see it in sports, like cancers in a locker room really just affect a franchise, right? And that's what it is. You have a guy who's never been committed to play for them, but they're still skilled enough to win some games.
Reigning MVP as well.
So I mean, I like the 76ers, but I don't like them enough to put them in my top 4.
Tanner?
I've also got the 76ers.
Man, let's go.
Look it up.
So we're all wrong.
Do you have the Pacers at 4?
No.
Okay.
I got the
3.
The boys at 1.
Yeah, 1. Right. I got the Sixers. What they do? Add Danny Green? Like what?
Bro, Danny Green's valid.
Oh, he's old.
Yeah,
He's so
no,
old.
Where do you go to college?
He used to hoop.
North Carolina.
He has a ring. That's why I said that. We'll go straight into our 4 seed. Matt, who you got the 4 seed?
I have the Cavs. I was really high on them last year. They underperformed when they lost to the Knicks, but they added Strus. I thought that was great.
Yeah.
And Amani Bates, the most underrated draft pick in the whole entire draft. They got him at like 40, 50 something.
Round,
he should have been a lottery pick.
Yeah. I have the 76ers at 4. We've talked about it enough. I think Tyrese Maxey is going to take a step, though. He was really good last year, averaged over 20 points a game. And, yeah, Joel Embiid, 2-time scoring champ, MVP last year. So I like the 76ers being the 4 seed.
I have Miami as my 4.
I like that. We're pretty different.
What they did last season to end the season was remarkable. And I think they're going to have that same kind of success moving forward into this new start. They didn't lose a whole lot, right? They lost
the Heat?
Yeah.
The Heat lost a lot.
They lost Strus.
They lost Strus and Gabe Vincent.
And Gabe Vincent. But those guys were huge guys in the playoffs. I don't know,
helped him get to the
whatever.
8 seed.
Jimmy Butler's a dog. I love how he is just golf now, and he is the meme of the NBA. So I'm a big Jimmy Butler fan ever since he left Chicago. So I've got Miami as my 4.
My 4 seed is going to be the New York Knicks. I love Jalen Brunson and Julius Randle. I think that's a good combo together. They were a 4 seed last year. So give me the Knicks. I think the Knicks are pretty good. They got some other guys around them too, but those are the two guys.
They got Josh Hart, not Ryan Arcidiacono, goodness. DiVincenzo.
Yeah, that was good.
Mitchell Robinson too.
But the Knicks, Julius Randle 3 years ago now was All-NBA. Then the year after that he was terrible. Then he was All-NBA again. Brunson has only been this good for 1 year. They're going to need to prove it to me to another year. I have them in the playoffs, but not top 4.
Oof, you're going to hate my pick then.
Yeah. Yeah, who's your 3 seed?
Really? My 3 seed, I have the Brooklyn Nets.
Oh my
God. Hold on. The Brooklyn Nets are so fun. They have that vibe of like when D'Angelo Russell was on the Nets, like
awesome
with Mikal, Cam Johnson.
Yeah, that D'Angelo Russell team is also
and
6.
Ben Simmons. Have you guys been watching preseason?
Yeah.
He's playing so good.
Yeah.
He can't shoot. He has all the same problems. He is so much fun. He looks confident. He's playmaking. I got the Nets. You guys, I swear, they're gonna surprise you guys.
I love the Nets. Mikal Bridges is one of my favorite players in the NBA.
So underrated.
We'll see. I don't know if they have a true number 1 option. Mikal Bridges is great. He's not a true number 1. My 3 seed is, I don't know what they're giggling about over there. Is the Cavs. You guys know the Cavs had the best defense in the NBA last year.
Yep.
Evan Mobley's a dog. They have Jarrett Allen, the 2 just big dudes under the guarding the paint. Donovan Mitchell, he scored 70 a game last year. One of the best scorers in the NBA. Darius Garland, I think, takes another step. Was an All-Star 2 years ago. Last year, I had to kind of take a back seat to Donovan Mitchell. They got a whole year together. I think the Cavs can be a really good regular season team.
Before
I think you're just gonna skip me.
Sorry.
You're gonna skip me.
The Ben Simmons meme, where it's like her.
I'll put it up.
I need a man who doesn't play any minutes, and it's just Ben Simmons on the bench, like
with
his glasses and like a jacket.
I had the Knicks at my 3. But I'm so convinced by your take about the Cavs that I'm changing it to the Cavs because you just great analysis there.
So the Knicks are out for you?
Knicks are gone.
Knicks are gone.
Knicks are gone. I'm not going to move my 1 and my 2. So Knicks, you're out of there. Cavs, you're walking in, and that's due to you. Great analysis.
Thanks. I like
my 3 seed is also the Cleveland Cavaliers. I love the Max Strus edition. Darius Garland's a dog.
Max Strus is so mid.
Can we talk about Jarrett?
That boy got a strap.
I'm just hating.
Is Jarrett Allen the most underrated player? Did he make the All-Star game?
Like 2 years ago. Not last year.
He's
2 years
underrated.
Ago.
I love the Cavs.
Jared
The Cavs are
Allen's
going to be
fine.
pretty good.
All right, 2 seed.
I like his hair.
I think our 1-2 is probably all going to be the same. 2, I got Boston. The trade with Marcus Smart for Kristaps, I hated it. I thought it was a horrible move. But them going and getting Drew Holiday made them so much
They got the better version of Marcus
Yes,
Smart.
exactly.
100%.
And though I don't think they're as deep, they're going to really be relying on guys like Peyton Pritchard. I also have Boston as my 2.
Peyton Pritchard.
Yikes.
Come on now, he's a dog. Just re-signed him to a new deal.
For $100,000.
He's making like $8
What's league
million a
minimum?
year.
Yeah, league minimum's like $750K.
You guys are such haters. I think the Porzingis edition gives them a more viable option. They had Robert Williams, who's always been hurt. Al Horford is 60, but he still shot over 40% from 3. So I think they'll bring him off the bench, go small. Hopefully Jaylen Brown learns how to dribble with his left hand, and they'll be good. Obviously, we haven't talked about Jason Tatum, a top 10 player in the NBA.
Yeah, I have the Celtics as well. I don't know who I had this argument with last year. I'm blanking on who I had an argument with. They were saying that Brown was almost as good as Tatum, and that just discredits Tatum, right?
No.
They are a great,
Very
great 1-2.
Yeah.
Like if you could start a franchise with 2 guys and they were like on the list, they're okay to pick. I mean, they are
I think
unbelievable.
about 8 people over there.
No. I'm saying
that
that duo, besides the
Eight
other
success.
duos we'll get in, they're just really good. And Drew Holiday is a dog.
He is a dog.
And he's just a dog. So I like the
He's
Celtics. And honestly, I almost put it up 1. I'm just gonna say.
Yeah, I almost did too.
Yeah,
I crossed it out.
Yeah.
I have a lot of mixed feelings about this Celtics team because I'm going to start with the bat. I don't like Peyton Pritchard and O'Shea Brissett being in your bench rotation.
Yeah.
I don't think that cuts it. They probably will add as the season goes on, maybe make a trade or something. But to start, I don't like that. I also think Jaylen Brown's the most overrated player in the league. I don't think he can dribble. I think he turns it over a lot. I do think he's an elite scorer, but I seriously think his turnover issue is a big problem. However, I love the Drew Holiday edition. As you guys said, I don't need to go into it anymore. And I actually really like Kristaps on this team.
Yeah.
I think he's going to space the floor really nicely.
This team's loaded.
They are.
This team's one of the most loaded in the NBA.
In the NBA, they have a good solid six. We didn't talk about Derek White, who's all defensive last year.
Yeah.
Derek White.
That boy got a strap.
I think he's going to start
And
the 2
a big old
D'Angelo
forehead.
Russell said he wanted to be like Derek White in an interview. Did you guys see that?
I think the
I want to
Celtics.
see him hoop without a headband on. See
He's bald now. He shaved it all.
Did he?
Yeah.
I think the Celtics starting 5. I think Derek White has to be in it. He has to be the 2
Yeah,
guard.
I agree.
Who's your
I
one?
think
I think we all have the same
He's
one.
got a strap.
Yeah. One's the Bucks. I mean, they were the 1 seed last year,
So good.
and they added the second best point guard in the NBA. So there's not much to say.
The thing with the Bucks, they lost. They're won 58 games, 57 games, lost in the first round. They might not value the regular season as much. It's one of those things like, okay, let's just get in. Like, get in the number 1 seed. It might not matter, but I still have the Bucks in number 1. The Dame and Giannis duo is already the best in the NBA. Even though, have you seen Dame's preseason stats? It's been really bad.
Well, they're 2-2 in
Yeah,
preseason.
but it's okay. It's just preseason. And I mean, Chris Middleton being your 3 when he completely closed out the finals for them in 2021. I mean, that's a pretty good 3. I don't know if there's a better number 3 in all of the NBA.
This trade was super interesting, like in terms of the entire
Let's say
league.
Bobby Portis.
Yeah,
Go.
dog. I don't think the Bucks won the trade, and we talked about it a little bit. I don't think Milwaukee necessarily won the trade, but in terms of what they needed, a dude that can just go score the ball. Dame's a dog, and I just wonder how they're going to play together. They do play 2 different styles of basketball, but you always wonder when you add 2 superstars in the same roster. Some teams it hasn't worked out, so I hope it works out because when they're good, it's fun to watch the NBA. But yeah, the Bucks are at 1.
I got the Bucks number 1 as well. I don't think I really need to get into it too much. So
We're going to go right into the West. I feel like we should just go this way this time. First, we're going to do our sleeper team in the East. My sleeper team in the East might be a homer pick, Orlando Magic. They have one of the most underrated duos with Paulo and Franz Wagner. I think they could really be in playing contention. You got a sleeper team now?
Yeah, I'm gonna talk about the Bulls. Sorry. You know what? No, I'll go Heat because they weren't in my top 5. So I'll go with the Heat. I love Jimmy Butler. I love the Heat. They lost way too much. I think them losing Gabe Vincent was horrible.
He was awesome.
He was so good for them. And not getting Dame, that hurt them. So.
Yeah, I think the Bulls, they're definitely not going to make the playoffs, but I hope they do because Chicago fans, we need something, right?
We gotta get so back.
Yeah.
Best team in the NBA when we had Lonzo Ball.
If Lonzo Ball comes back,
He's not going to.
right? That's crazy, but we were so good with him because we had an actual point guard.
Yeah,
and we had a guy who could facilitate the court, and we allowed other guys to just go do what they're good at.
Yeah.
And this team has not done anything.
I think
in terms of roster moves.
No.
I mean, zilch, nada.
Hey,
so,
Torrey Craig.
exactly.
I have
Exactly.
someone that you're kind of forgetting who is a point guard. I like Javon Carter a lot.
Oh, they did get you.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
I think he's going to be good.
I forgot
for
about
the
that. But he's not going to take him to the next level like Zoe can.
Very
So,
true.
yeah.
I'm going to go with the Pacers. Going to be biased like Johnny.
But I almost picked the Pacers. I also really like Tyrese Halliburton.
I think the Pacers are going to get into play-in at worst. I think if you see a team like the Sixers or Heat struggle again, the Pacers would be one of the prime candidates to steal a 6 seed and not be in the play-in.
Yeah.
I think Tyrese Halliburton is going to go crazy.
Yeah.
I love Bruce Brown. He gets out in transition as good as anybody else, and that's what Halliburton does. I think they're going to play well together. Benedict Mathurin.
He was my favorite prospect coming out of the draft.
dog.
He's going to take another step.
Well, let's see. He had a really good first half and really tailed off in the second half.
Miles Turner had a career year, and Buddy Hield off the bench was pretty good.
Who they need to trade. So, the West. We'll go straight into the West. The West was arguably the hardest to pick for me. It is so loaded. It is legitimately 12 teams in the West that are vying to make the playoffs. Just like my 10 or my 8-7-6, I have the Kings at 8, Pelicans at 7, and Grizzlies at 6. And the Grizzlies were the 1 seed or 2 seed a few years ago, so just super deep. I have OKC at 5. I think they're the last year's Sacramento Kings. The Kings, 2 years before they made the playoffs, if there's a play-in, they would have been in it. Then they made that huge step, and I think Chet Holmgren was going to be really good. Not having him that first year, Shea is a top 10 player in the NBA, so yeah, I have OKC at 5.
Yeah, quickly, at my 6th, I have the Thunder. Shea's awesome, great young core. If Chet's healthy, they could be really good. And then at my 5, I have the Warriors. I think they got better when they shipped away Jordan Poole. I think that made them better. But also, getting Chris Paul, defensively, they're going to be really bad. Like, they're going to be really bad. They're not going to be able to guard. And I think Clay's going to keep declining. So I don't see too high of a ceiling for him this year.
Chris Paul in his heyday was all defensive, man.
Yeah.
About 20 years ago, but it's
6, I have Thunder as well. 5, I have Lakers. I just worry with can they stay healthy. I think it's a question that the Lakers have had for a while now. They definitely have the superstars on their team, obviously. We're not going to really watch LeBron. The season LeBron doesn't average, 28 is the season that he just retires. So he's going to be
at
a
least
stud.
25. Give him 25.
He's going to be a stud again. It's kind of just what he does. He's the second greatest player of all time. So Lakers at 5.
I also had the Thunder at 6. I'm going to take the Kings at 5. But with that being said, Kings at 5, I think any of these 5 teams, I think 100% all of them can make it 5.
If the Timberwolves all of a sudden were the 3 seed, like that would surprise me. If the Pelicans or Zion stay healthy, they're the 2 seed, wouldn't surprise me. The thing that concerns me with the Kings, they had an insane offense last year, and it's just so hard to replicate that in this modern NBA. NBA is easy to score, but I don't know. They were really good last year.
I just really like De'Aaron Fox. Sabonis is a great player.
Yeah.
He's at your 5.
Keegan Murray is pretty good. I like Davion Mitchell a lot too. I liked him on the draft.
Like the bean, man. They were rowdy.
That was cool.
Yeah.
At 4, I have the Warriors. Can the young guys take a step? Can Kuminga and Moody kind of get in there and be better? Mayo already talked about them a little bit. We'll see. Steph is 35, 36, 34 to 36 range.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he's going to decline at all. He's one of my favorite players to watch, but I agree with kind of the Klay Thompson. Hopefully, if they get the Klay Thompson averages 18 a game, shooting 38 to 40% from 3, I think that's a big factor for them.
Yeah. 4, I have the Lakers. I think they had the most underrated offseason. Getting Gabe Vincent was really good for them, and it seems like he's going to come off their bench, which is volume scoring off the bench. Christian Wood, great pickup.
Yeah.
Like, in those times when AD's not playing, LeBron's not playing, he's a capable player to fill in where they can still win regular season games.
Yeah, 100%. I have the Warriors at my 4. I am so excited to watch Curry and Paul play together.
Yeah.
I think that is going to be electric. I mean, just Paul finding Curry, because although Curry's getting older, he still runs around
moving.
He's still running around like a madman, right? So I'm super excited to watch that relationship. I totally agree about the Poole take that you had. I love Poole. I think he's a great player.
But 40 last
Not in that system.
They did not gel well together.
Also,
right?
it was also they also won the title with him, which is crazy.
They did, but I'm telling you, I think.
But they unload that contract. He was making $30 million for the next 4 years.
But I think this Chris Paul, Curry, just those two, not even mentioning everybody else, they could win a ring just because of those two. I really do think so.
At my 4, I got the Dallas Mavericks.
Ooh, that is high.
So I've always been a believer that Kyrie is a cancer, but I'm never.
Obviously not.
But I'm not gonna go against Luka, and I'm telling you, getting rid of Kristaps is so big for this team because you look at what Kyrie and Luka want to do.
They want 2 years ago.
Kristaps, he was on the Mavericks last year, right?
Wizards.
Oh, he's on the Wizards.
Yeah.
Then who's their big last year?
Like Dwight Powell.
It was bad. Regardless, bad.
Well, no, I like Dwight Powell was not starting. I like Dwight Powell. I think he fits their play styles really well because he's going to set screens and roll and catch lobs.
He was the 6th man. Dwight Powell, I think, definitely started. Christian Wood was kind of their big guy.
Yeah, well, Dwight Powell is the best big for this team.
He don't care.
He sets screens.
Don't care.
How's the guy?
He sets
Mavs in 4.
He rolls. He catches lobs. Guess what Kyrie and Luka want to do? They want to come off screens. They want to make plays.
If Dwight Powell ever averaged more than 10 points a game, I'll give you $10.
All right.
Free play.
It's on camera.
My number 3 is the Suns. I think they're built for the playoffs.
Sorry, I just said something in my throat.
I think what they did in free agency is so underrated. The depth that they got. I mean, Eric Gordon off the bench. They get Grayson Allen in that trade, and the 3 just go-to scores they had. I mean, the 3rd best defender right now is going to guard Bradley Beal. Bradley Beal scored 30 points in a game, in a season. He averaged 30 in a season. So I think the Suns are kind of being underrated after all these moves. So yeah, give me the Suns at 3.
At 3, I have the Kings. Not much to say. You guys talked about them a little bit. I think they're only going to get better. I mean, De'Aaron Fox is awesome. He's one of those players like when you have him, when you have a guy that moves that fast, he reminds me of like John Wall in those Wizards days. Like such a fun guy to watch. So I hope they can be what they were last year.
Their fan base was awesome. I'm
for the first time ever.
Yeah. I have the Kings as well as my 3. You talked about their offense being so good last year. That's what the NBA is now. It is who can score 140 points. I mean, that might be a little bit of an exaggeration, but they don't play defense until May. And that's just the truth of the matter. So this offense is explosive, and they're going to score a ton of points. So I like the Kings here in my 3.
And Malik Monk is fun. I like Malik Monk.
Yeah.
I have the Warriors as my 3.
Yeah, please search up if Dwight Powers 10 points a game.
What did it say?
No, he did it.
What?
No, he didn't. He did it.
Who did 3?
Warriors. I like Chris Paul.
Let the man speak.
I think Chris Paul is going to average 20 points a game for the first time since the 2009 season.
Let's go.
I'm all for it.
The spacing on the floor is going to leave the mid-range wide open for him.
Oh.
And you know who has the smoothest mid-range J
Chris Paul.
in the
Kevin
NBA?
Durant.
Kevin Durant. DeMar is up there.
Chris Paul.
Chris Paul.
He's awesome.
We all just named dudes that can all shoot the mid.
Yeah. Number 2, I have Denver. I wrote one thing
Andrew
down.
Stokes, he can shoot the mid.
Andrew Stokes.
Yeah.
Number 2, I have Denver.
You're at 2.
Yeah, Denver I have at 2. Is that a problem?
No, go ahead.
Who is in your 1?
Yeah, that's
Lakers.
Oh!
But I have Denver. I'll get to that. You guys can look that.
I'm like, bro, you're skipping numbers here.
We'll get to that in a second. I'll put you guys in facts. Denver is at 2. I have one thing written down. Jokic. Best player in the NBA. It's a completely dominant playoff run. They lose Bruce Brown. They lose Jeff Green. Christian Braun's going to step into a bigger role. Jamal Murray, Michael Porter Jr. Again, same old Nuggets.
2, I have the Suns. We'll see if it works. I mean, you see these super teams, a lot of the times they don't end rings, so that's my only reservation. Bol might be the greatest player in NBA history.
Bol's about to get cut.
But other than that, I don't have much to say.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to talk about the Nuggets because you just watch them and then Jokic goes for 28, 14, and 12. So it's like...
Or 50.
Or 50, yeah. And he'll shoot like 4 threes and make all 4 of them. So the Joker's the best player in the NBA. So MPJ, all the surround pieces, the Nuggets are really good. So they're my 2.
I got the Suns at my 2. I love Kevin Durant. I love Devin Booker. I love Bradley Beal. I have concerns about their depth. I think Nurkic fits in well with this team.
I agree.
I'm excited to see him with them. But, yeah.
Since you guys are all hating on Lakers on
It's a
my
terrible
1.
take. It's one of the worst takes on
No,
Backyard
it's so
Banter.
fun. It's so fun.
One of the worst takes on Backyard Banter.
Who was in the Western Conference Finals last year?
Nuggets.
Lakers as a 7th seed. Once they traded for Rui, D'Angelo Russell, and that one more big piece that they traded for, they were a different team. They were probably the deepest team in the NBA. They were legitimately 11, 12 deep. I mean, Cam Reddish is going to be their 12, 13 man. And I'm not saying Cam Reddish is a world beater, but Cam Reddish can hoop. We'll see what LeBron has to give him year like 50, year 21 for LeBron. Anthony Davis, everyone's going to say, it's his team. And every other game in the playoffs last year, he was great. So let's see if he can stay
Anthony
healthy.
Davis is going to maybe play 30 games.
We'll see. We'll see.
Anthony Davis.
I hope he plays more. I'm banking on the offseason that they had. I mean, Gabe Vincent is going to be their 6-7 man. They got Austin Reeves back on a 4-year deal on a steal of the contract. So yeah, Lakers.
Being high on the Lakers is fine, but this high I think is crazy.
How? Why?
Because this West is so loaded, and they are very deep, but they're still just teams that are just better than they are.
Right. Is LeBron going to play more than 60 games? Is Anthony Davis going to play more than 40 games?
I don't know. Is Kevin Durant, who's been hurt every year, going to play more than 60 games?
Well, they still have
Devin Booker.
Bradley Beal played combined 60 games.
No, I agree. I agree with that.
Again,
Yeah,
I don't.
A lot of dudes don't play.
Being high on the Lakers is fine because in the NBA nowadays, guys just go out for 15 games and it's like nothing.
Well, the thing is that there's more incentive to play now than ever in the past 6 years. You have the 500K is nothing. These guys with the in-season tournament, and to qualify for any major awards, you need to play at least 65 games.
Yeah.
So I think maybe not for LeBron because he has every award imaginable, but maybe for AD who wants that Defensive Player of the Year, or any of the other days. And even if LeBron doesn't play, I mean, D'Angelo Russell is like the 5th best player on his team. He was an All-Star 3 years ago.
One more question: is LeBron your GOAT? I'm just curious.
Again, I think the GOAT conversation is kind of silly. I think if you
it's
have either Michael Jordan, Kareem, or LeBron as your number one, I don't really.
Okay. I just didn't know who was a bias.
I don't fault you. No, that's also it's whatever. I just think they're the deepest team in the NBA.
I like it.
In my one, I have the Nuggets. I feel like I like to put respect on the champ's name. You win the championship, I feel like you automatically should, unless if there's a crazy injury or trade, you should have the rights to be the number one team. Like, people got to go out and beat you. So that's all that I have to say.
Facts. I love Joe Creed, my favorite player in the NBA. So
best player in the NBA right now.
But just my favorite.
Second team All NBA.
Just the way he plays, he's like
because you're not allowed to one center. Joel won.
He's just like he does things different than we've seen in a while, in a long time. So they're still my two, but in one I have the Suns. KD has now been on three super teams, right? It worked for Golden State. It didn't work for Brooklyn, and now. They were already good last year. Phoenix was good in terms of their roster. They got so much better. Bradley Beal's a stud. He's a heck of a scorer. And then like Devin Booker is just
we haven't
a dog. Nobody's giving Devin Booker's
a top 10 player, man.
I mean, he's
the best shooting guard in the league.
They have two of like Devin Booker is close to like 5 to 6 for me in the league.
Closer to 10.
And KD's
he's closer to KD than he is to Devin Booker.
100%.
To Bradley Beal.
100%.
Yeah.
So I just think they are so deep on that front five. The question is, are they going to play well together? Because it didn't work in Brooklyn, right? When Harden, Kyrie, and KD were together. Granted, there was some injury there, but I love this Suns team. I think they won that trade between the Bucks and everyone else. They got deeper, and so give me the Suns at the 1 seed. And they're my NBA champion prediction.
I don't hate that, because my finals, we might get it.
We can go back this
I had the Nuggets as the 1 seed. Jokic is the best player in the world. It is absurd that he didn't win MVP last year.
Totally agree.
Absurd.
Yeah.
It's because it's voters. There hasn't been a 3-time MVP since Larry Bird from 84 to 86.
I hate that dude.
Nah,
so
he's the best.
He was clearly the best player in the NBA.
And how loaded the West was without MPJ and Jamal Murray, he was the 6th seed.
Yeah.
Which is insane.
And then he goes and
That
wins.
was 2 years ago. And then he gets his guys back and wins.
And I understand it's not based off of playoff performance.
Yeah, but
Playoff
still
performance. He goes and wins. And
we'll see.
I have
hardest things to do.
Yeah.
I have a hot take also with the Nuggets. So Bruce Brown leaves. Guess who's going to step in and play? Christian Brown.
Yeah.
My most improved player in the NBA this year is going to be Christian Brown.
Ooh.
I think he's going to go off.
That's valid. Yeah.
He was good.
Yeah. I want to say my sleeper team real quick. I think the Pelicans have the potential to be a top 3 seed. If Zion can stay healthy. When Zion's healthy, he's 25 a game on 60% shooting. He puts up Wilt numbers. Brandon Ingram's there, CJ McCollum, Trey Murphy. I mean, they're just so deep. And I think if Zion can stay healthy, which he hasn't done ever, I think they could be really good. But yeah, Tanner, you can give us your finals prediction first.
My NBA Finals prediction is going to be a rematch of 2 years ago. I got the Bucks playing the Suns. I think I would probably take the Suns to win this series.
Okay. I have Suns versus Celtics, and I have the Suns coming on top.
I got Nuggets, Bucks, and I'm hoping it goes to 7. I got the Bucks.
I also have the Suns in the finals. I just think they're built for the playoffs. Playoffs, everything goes smaller. But will they be able to match up with the bigs of for the Lakers and for the Nuggets? Because one person I didn't even mention for the Lakers is Rui, who was really good in the playoffs. But I think
stopper.
He did.
And then I literally I don't know who to pick. I have Bucks/Celtics right here. I'm gonna go with the Bucks just because I trust Chris Middleton more in the playoffs and Brook Lopez more. Just their core, and then maybe a Jaylen Brown or a Kristaps Porzingis. So I think Giannis is the best two-way player in the world, and he gets arguably the second or third best shooter in the world. So yeah, give me the Bucks over the Suns.
So you have Bucks, Suns.
Suns.
Ooh.
All right. A little spicy. Backyard Banter NBA talk. We're finally getting into it.
Love it. It starts on Tuesday, by the way. Tuesday. It starts. Lakers Nuggets is one of the games, and I forget the earlier game. I won. We get the fantasy football pick 'em we do every week. I won last week, like Tanner said, season high in points. No big deal. I just do that. James has the first pick. James, who you got?
Keenan Allen. Give me Keenan Allen.
Valid.
Yeah, that's all I got to say.
I'm going with Devontae Adams. He is questionable, so if not, give me Jacoby Myers. But against the Bears, I'm taking the
I'm going with Jahmyr Gibbs. Same thing I did with Raheem Mostert last week. Starters out. I'm going to go with the backup. Now I'm going to go with Mike Evans. Baker's going to feed him against the Falcons. Tanner, back to you.
My second pick, I'm going with Bijan Robinson.
Yeah,
they play the Bucks, and the Bucks' run D has not been totally great as of yet this year. So give me Bijan.
They've been really good.
Alvin Kamara. Tonight he plays Thursday Night Football.
You got two.
And then quarterback, I'm going Lamar Jackson.
Oh, that's fun. That's a fun one.
It's love.
Tanner, you got?
So I'm going to go tight end here. I'm going to target the worst passing defense in the league. I'm going with Luke Musgrave from the Packers.
That's fun. That's a fun pick. I have two here to wrap it up. I'm going with Josh Allen as quarterback. I've not used him yet. I think he played very bad this week. He has to bounce back. And my tight end.
Don't do it.
Dun, dun,
Don't do it.
dun, dun. I don't know.
Okay, good.
I feel like I've kind of used. I'll go with George Kittle. I haven't used George Kittle yet.
Okay.
Tanner, you got
it's
one
me,
more,
it's
right?
me.
Yeah.
Man.
So it's my last pick. I'm trying to have fun, guys. Trying to have fun.
Say Flowers.
Aiden O'Connell, quarterback.
Well, we're fighting for first.
I've heard of worse takes.
Well, we're fine. I take back, by the way, your comment on the Lakers. That's the worst take
Yeah.
in Backyard Banter history. My tight end is going to be Sam Laporta.
Oh, that's so fun. I love that. If you made it this far, thank you so much for watching.
Shout out to Mayo for hopping in.
Yeah, shout out to Mayo for getting in here. Like, subscribe.
Please get us
share
to
it.
150 before the
Yeah,
packs.
we're at 138 as the time is recording. Again, just share it out. I mean, I know my mom sends it to everyone.
Yeah.
So, if you got sent this by my parents, you made it this far, thank you so much.
Love.
And we'll see you after another amazing weekend on Tuesday.
Peace.